that tune? I think that's part of it. I don't want it to be too overpowering. Let's see. Let me go back. Okay, yeah, I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Okay, I think it's working alright. Are you too loud? No. Okay, I think it's just good enough. Maybe not? What about now? Okay, I think it's okay. I think it's good. I hope. Okay. Are you ready for some spooky stories? I found one that was a short story. That wasn't too short, but not too long. And I didn't see the ending, so I think that this will be a good one. Let's see. I have everything. I've got my water. I've got my levels checked. I don't think I think I'm good enough. Okay. I think we're good. I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything left. I think I'm going to draw Grace in my true spirit form. Yeah. Spooky grandma. Alright. Here we go. Boop. Okay. You forgot to tell me that I made an evolution of. You made an evolution? You've gotta show me. I can't wait. Okay. Alright. I've got everything in front of me. I think that I'm perfectly balanced. I think that the music is just loud enough, but not too loud. I think we're good to go. The story is definitely going to get very bright, so Grandma's not going to be as spooky anymore. But we've got H.P. Lovecraft. It's from 1928, and we're not going to read about him because he was actually kind of a bigot. Like, he didn't really believe in science, which is like kind of weird. Like, he thought AC was like witchcraft. And he hated living in the city. So, oh, is this commercial use if I'm ads? Am I gonna get in trouble? Greetings, Canum. Am I allowed to read this? Am I commercial use if I'm just reading? Technically, this is an ad video now. So would I get in trouble? I don't know. Hi, Mortal. Do any of you know if I'll get in trouble for reading this? It's public domain, but it says do not use for commercial use, but I'm just reading it. I know that the video gets ads eventually, so like, am I commercial use now? I thought I was okay. Right? Cause the story's public domain. I got it for free on a public domain website. so I know that it's public domain. So the story itself should be okay, but maybe the files? Let me look on Google. I'm a Google. Can you read public domain books on Twitch? If it's public domain, I would be fine. Can I read it? Yes, no copyright infringement here. Okay. Is reading on Twitch commercial use? It looks like we're okay. No, it's considered infringement if it's copyrighted, but I'm not copywritten. Yeah, worst case I get a warning. We should be okay. I think I'm fine, because the book is public domain. And free books, yeah. Free books told me it's okay, so we should be okay. Thank you for sending it. I saw the Discord pop up. I'll make sure to read it later. May. So the book is public domain, but it says the file's not for commercial use. So I feel like we're gonna be fine. Who am I gonna sue, right? Like, what's Mr. Howard gonna do? Sue me? I'll fist fight that man in a parking lot. In a Denny's parking lot. Okay. Alright. We're gonna make it a little bigger. Perfect. Okay. Chapter 1. For the Dunwich horror. Hi! I'm having a great night because I have you guys. I had a 12-hour shift at school today. I freaking hated it. But I got 2 of my trainings done. So, 2 out of 5 is down. I only have 3 left. Yay! But yeah, I'm really happy. Yeah, he could. Yeah, HP Lovecraft is definitely dead. He's like dead several times over, so we should be okay. He won't sue me, and I feel like we're fine. It's public domain, so when in doubt, yeah. Yep. I'm gonna hate me, but I made the evolution bipedal. Don't worry, it's split. Okay, I'll look at it later. But yeah, so we should be okay. And if we're not okay, I'll just make sure not to use the same website again. Okay. Take a quick water. Alright, here we go. Gorgons and hydras and chimeras, dire stories of Seleno and the harpies. They may reproduce themselves in brains of superstition, but they were there before. They are transcripts, types, the archetypes are in us, and eternal. How else should the recital of that which we know in a waking sense to be false come to affect us all? If that is what we naturally conceive terror from, considered in their capacity of being able to inflict upon us bodily injury, all least of all these terrors are old or standing. Hi, have a good lurk. They date beyond body, or without the body, they would have been the same. That the kind of fear here treated is purely spiritual, that it is strong in proportion as the objectless on earth, that it predominates in the period of our sinless infancy. They're the difficulties of solution which might afford some probable insight for our anti-mundane condition, and a peep, at least, into the shadowland of pre-existence. I would definitely bake Jack Skellington pumpkins. You're absolutely right. I kind of want to do fan art of that now. Alright. Charles Lamb, Witches and Other Night Fears. When a traveler in north and central Massachusetts takes the wrong fork at the junction of Aylesbury Pike, just beyond Dean's Corners, he comes upon a lonely and curious country. The ground gets higher, and the briar-bordered stone walls press closer and closer against the rests of the dusty, curving road. The trees of the frequent forest belt seem too large, and the wild weeds, brambles, and grasses attain a luxuriance not often found in the settled regions. At the same time, the planted fields appear singularly free and barren, while the sparsely scattered houses wear a surprisingly uniform aspect of age, squalor, and dilapidation. Without knowing why, one hesitates to ask questions from the gnarled solitary figures spied now and then on crumbling doorsteps or on the sloping, rock-strewn meadows. Those figures are so silent and furtive that one feels somehow confronted by forbidden things with which it would be better to have nothing to do. When a rise in the road brings the mountains in view above the deep woods, the feelings of strange uneasiness increase. The summits are too rounded and symmetrical. Sometimes the sky silhouettes with especial clearness the queer circles of tall stone pillars with which most of them are crowned. Gorges and ravines of problematic depth intersect the way, and the crude wooden bridges always seem dubiously safe. The thin, shining line of the Miskatonic? Miskatonic! I know that place. The shining line of Miskatonic's upper reaches has an oddly serpentine-like suggestion as it winds closer to the feet of the domed hills along which it rises. As the hills draw nearer, one heeds their wooden sides more than their stone-crowned tops. Those sides loomed up so darkly and precipitously that one wishes they could keep their distance. Across a covered bridge, one sees a small village huddled between the stream and the vertical slope of Round Mountain, and wonders at the cluster of rotten bramble roofs bespeaking an early architectural period than that of the neighboring country. It is not reassuring to see on a closer glance that most of the houses are deserted and falling to ruin, and that the broken steepled church now harbors the one slovenly mercantile establishment of the hamlet. It's always a relief to get clear of the place and to follow the narrow road along the base of the hills across the level country beyond till it rejoins the Aylesbury Pike. Afterwards, one sometimes learns that one has been through Dunwich. Outsiders visit Dunwich as seldom as possible, and since a certain season of horror, all of the signboards pointing towards it have been taken down. The scenery, judged by an ordinary aesthetic canon, is more than commonly beautiful, yet it is no influx of artists or summer tourists. 2 centuries ago, when talk of blood witch, Satan worship, and strange forest presences was not a laugh about, it was the custom to give reason to avoid the locality. In our sensible age, since the Dunwich horror of 1928 was hushed up, people shun it without knowing exactly why. Perhaps one reason is that the natives are now repellently decadent. They've gone far too long against that path of retrogression, and so common in New England backwaters. They come to form a race by themselves from the well-defined mental and physical stigma of here we go. This is where the racism came in. Fun fact, you guys, H.P. Lovecraft was also a racist. He also hated science, so we're going to be moving all along. I'm going to be skipping lots of paragraphs because he's very what's a good way of saying oh wait, no, I can say it. He's a piece of shit. So yeah, we're going to be skipping a lot. He was also he was literally he literally called himself so weak due to his constitution against math. Literally, this man was too stupid to do multiplication. Yeah, he is an asshole, a vile man. He literally said that his neighbor was like an alien all because he was like a foreigner who had AC. Like, he's literally insane. He also was like really shitty to his wife too. So like we're skipping several things. Okay. So, no one, even though... Boop. Boop. Okay. In 1747, the Reverend Hoadley, newly come to the Congregational Church at Dunwich Village, preached a memorable sermon on the close presence of Satan and his imps. No, we're still getting down. Dum. Basically, nobody goes to that village anymore because, oh my goodness gracious, it's all dilapidated and broken down, and 2 centuries ago something crazy happened, and now we're gonna get to find out. These tales, of course, are obsolete and ridiculous because they come down from very old times. Dunwich is indeed ridiculously old, older by far than any of the communities within 30 miles of it. South of the village, when we still spy the cellar walls and the chimney of the ancient bishop house, which was built before 1700, whilst the ruins of the mill at the falls, built in 1806, form the most modern piece of architecture. Uh-oh. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Built in 1806, formed by the most modern southern ASMR town. Did I start southern stuff? Oh. Dang it. Why aren't... I thought I turned on my alerts. Gosh dang it. Alright. We can do southern. The industry did not flourish here, and the 19th century factory movement proved short-lived. Oldest of all were the great rings of rough-hewn stone columns on the hilltops, but they are more generally attributed to the natives than to the settlers. Deposits of skulls and bones found within these circles are around the sizable table-like rock on Sentinel Hill, sustain the popular belief that ethnologists disregarding the absurd improbability of such a theory, persistent in believing the remains Caucasian. Oh, they found dead bodies, but they were white people. Everyone was like, oh, it's Native Americans. Nah, bitch. It's a white guy. We're gonna find out what white guy. Chapter 2. It was in the township of Dunwich, in a large and partly inhabited farmhouse set against a hillside, 4 miles from the village, and 1.5 miles from any other dwelling, that Wilbur Whately was born at 5 a.m. on Sunday, the 2nd of February, 1913. This date was recalled because it was Candlemas. Candlemas? Huh? In which the people of Dunwich curiously observe under another name. And because the noises in the hills had sounded and all the dogs had barked persistently throughout the night, less worthy of notice was the fact that the mother was one of the decadent Wheatleys, a somewhat deformed, unattractive albino woman of 35, living with an aged and half-insane father, about whom the most frightful of tales, from wizardry, had been whispered in his youth. Lavinia Whately had not known her husband, but according to the custom of the region made no attempt to disavow the child. Concerning the other side of those whose ancestry the folk might, and did, speculate as widely as they chose. On the contrary, she seemed strangely proud of the dark goatish-looking infant, who looked such in contrast to her own pink-eyed albinism, and was heard to mutter many curious prophecies about its unusual powers and tremendous future. Lavinia was one who would be apt to mutter such things. She had inherited throughout 2 centuries of Whately's odorous... Huh? I'm sorry. Odorous books? Young lady, you better be taking better care of your books. Absolutely abhorrent. Outrageous. But anyhow, those smelly old books were filled with disjointed scraps of ancient lore that old Whately had taught her. The remote farmhouse had always been feared because of old Whately's reputation for black magic, and the unexplained death by violence of Mrs. Whately when Lavinia was 12 years old had not helped to make the place any popular. Isolated among strange influences, Lavinia was fond of wild and grandiose daydreams and singular occupations, nor was her leisure much taken up by household chores, in a home which all standards of order and cleanliness had long since disappeared. Oh, I disappeared. You're thinking when I draw my true form, I'm gonna draw the scene of you meeting. Oh, thanks. You're so sweet. I met them in high school. They were playing, do you know the game Ninja? It's where you, like, make a little, like, karate chop hand and you try to snap someone else's hand. They would try to kill each other, like, with karate chops. And I remember meeting them, like, officially in the library when they were playing one of them. So it was fun. So maybe, like, I guess the lore being all fancy would be like, oh, Grandma, like, waddles up to them while they're, like, having, like, a battle, like a showdown, where one is trying to kill the other. Alright. There was hideous screaming, which echoed above even in the hill noises, and the dogs barking on the night of Wilbur was born, but no known doctor or midwife was present at his coming. Neighbors knew nothing of him till a week afterward, when old Whately drove his sleigh through the snow into the Dunwich village and discoursed incoherently to groups of loungers at Osborne's general store. There seems to be a change in the old man, an added element of furtiveness in the clouded brain which subtly transformed him from an object to a subject of fear. Amidst it all, he showed some trace of pride later noticed in his daughter, and what he said of the child's paternity was remembered by many of his hearers years on afterwards. I don't care what folks think. If Lavinia's boy looked like his pa, he wouldn't look nothing you expect. He needn't think the only folks is the folks round here. Lavinia's read some, and has seed some things the most a ye only talk about. I calculate her man is as good a husband as you find in this side of Aylesbury, and you know as much about the hills as I do. He wouldn't know better church wedding nor hearing. Let me tell you something. Someday you folks will hear a child of Lavinia's a calling its father's name on the top of Sentinel Hill. Alright. The only person who saw Wilbur during the first month of his life was old Zachariah Whately, of the undecayed Whateleys, and Earl Sawyer's common-law wife, Mammy Bishop. Mammy's visit was frankly one of curiosity, and her subsequent tales did justice to her observations. But Zachariah came to lead a pair at Alderney's cows, which old Whately had bought from his son Curtis. Oh, this marked the beginning of a course of cattle buying on the part of the small Wilbur's family, which ended only in 1928, when the Dunwich War came and went. Uh-oh. Are they making a cow farm? There came a period when people were curious enough to steal up and count the herd that grazed atop the steep hillside, and they could never find more than 10 or 12 anemic, bloodless-looking specimens. Oh no. The cows. They're getting sucked dry. Evidently, some blight or distemper perhaps sprung from the old unwholesome pasturage, or diseased fungi and timbers of that filthy old barn caused a heavy mortality amongst the weightly animals. Odd wounds or sores, having some kind of aspect of incisions, seemed to affect the visible cattle, and once or twice during the early months, certain callers fancied they could discern similar sores about the throats of the gray, unshaved old man and his slaterly, crinkly-haired albino daughter. Uh-oh. Little Wilbur is a vampire, I'm calling it. Did I just hear a chuckle? It sucked dry, shaking my head. Should have been a full-blown laugh. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just vampires, man. Where am I going? Alright. In the spring, after Wilbur's birth, Lavinia resumed her customary rambles into the hills, bearing in her misproportioned arms the swarthy little child. Public interest in the Whateleys subsided after most of the country folk had seen the baby, and no one bothered to comment on the swift development which the newcomer seemed every day to exhibit. Wilbur's birth was indeed phenomenal, for within 3 months of his birth he'd attained a size and muscular power not usually found in infants under a full year. Kill it! It's the... Dude, it's the Breaking Dawn baby! It's Renesmee! Dude! Twilight ripping off H.P. Lovecraft, man. Alright. His motions and even vocal sounds showed a restraint and deliberateness highly peculiar in an infant, and no one was really unprepared when at 7 months he began to walk unassisted, with falterings which about another month was sufficient to remove. Oh my god, it really is! Dude! I called it! I'm such a good... Oh my god, it's a vampire, man! Man, I'm so smart. It was somewhat after this time on Halloween that a great blaze was seen at midnight on the top of Sentinel Hill, where the old table, black stone, stands amidst its tumulus of ancient bones. Considerable talk was started when Silas Bishop, of the Undecayed Bishops, mentioned having seen the boy running sturdily up that hill ahead of his mama about an hour before the blaze was remarked. Silas was rounding up a stray heifer. That's another word for cow. But he nearly forgot his mission when he fleetingly spied the 2 figures in the dim light of his lantern. They darted noiselessly through the underbrush, and in the astonished watchers seemed to think that they were entirely unclothed. Huh? Afterwards, he could not be sure about the boy, who may have been some kind of fringed belt and trunks. Wilbur never subsequently seen alive inconspicuous without complete and tightly buttoned attire. Huh? Did they? Were they? I think they were streaking on Halloween night. That's some witchy hour bullshit, I'll tell you what. His contrast with his squalid mother and grandfather in this respect was thought very notable until the horror happened, which gave very many reasons as to why. Okay, see, this is something... Alright, I'm gonna stop for just a quick second. This is something that I think H.P. Lovecraft does kind of well, but kind of not. He keeps mentioning how, like, oh, this is happening, can't wait for you to hear about it. And it's like, I understand, I get it, but also, like, could you just tell me? Like, I'm not a big fan of slow burn. I don't have the patience for it. Which is why we're probably gonna skip some of these, like, oh my god, here it comes. You're gonna freak out. Here it is. Oh my god. Wow. Did you see it? Did you see it now? What about now? Like, I get it. I get it. Okay? Like, I get it. Come on. So we're gonna skip some of that boring stuff, but only a few of it. The boy wasn't very talkative, yet when he did speak, he seemed to reflect some elusive element, wholly unpossessed by Dunwich and its denizens. The strangeness did not reside in what he said, or even the simple idioms he used, but seemed vaguely linked with his intonation and the internal organs that produced the spoken sounds. Okay, so basically he, like, has an accent. Oh my god, how scary. Wow, HP. Howard. Would I talk like my normal self in my spirit form, or do you think the spirits would have an animal Shakespeare talk? Do y'all want to read Shakespeare next time? Cause I'm all down for that. I'm down for that. We're already let's see. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. We are a fourth of the way through already. We only have 70% left. So I'm all for finishing this and doing Shakespeare next time. Yeah, to literally that man hated all people who were not white. He hated all people who were not guys. He thought that, like, super hot girls were creepy because they, like, had to be witches to be that hot. He also thought that AC and other science stuff were, like, not real. He thought it was witchcraft. And are we going from I hope to God not. Oh my god. I'm really not interested in it. You're kidding me with this bullshit. I don't know if y'all can hear my phone buzzing. My phone is going crazy right now. I've got like a million voice messages coming in from my coworkers. You're kidding me with this. The math team was stuck at school till like 7 o'clock tonight. Like, why are y'all still talking? It's been an hour. Stop. Get some help. Jeez Louise. Get that work-life balance, y'all. Y'all need it. I'm telling y'all as my grandkids, y'all need that work-life balance. Oh. Maybe we won't read that one. We'll just read ones that are, like, problematic in different ways. Like, Romeo and Juliet is problematic, but in a way that everybody already knows. I know, man. How do I... Oh my god. What the hickety heck? What? Oh my god, stop. How do I... There we go. Okay. Jesus Christ. Mortal, these people are nuts. Nuts, I'm telling you. Alright, one more drink and then we'll get going. Alright, and then just as a reminder, I don't know why my alerts ain't working. I'm probably gonna set Ash on them and help them fix it for me. I want to hear how it would like Hercules. It should be illegal. It should be illegal, man. Like, jeez Louise, get it together, y'all. While all this was going on, old Whately continued buying cattle without measurable increasing the size of his herd. He would cut timber and began repairing unused parts of his house. Spacious, peaked-roofed affair, which rose rear end up, buried entirely in the rocky hillside. 3 least ruined ground floor rooms had always been sufficient for himself and his daughter, but now I suppose not. There must have been prodigious reserves of strength in the old man to enable him to accomplish so much hard labor, and though he still babbled dementedly at times, his carpentry seemed to show the effects of sound calculation. Now, in restoring the abandoned upper story of the house, he was no less thorough a craftsman. His mania showed itself only in his tight boarding up of all the windows in the reclaimed section. though many declared it was a crazy thing to bother with the reclamation at all. Honestly, man, like, why are you making, like, it's just you and, like, a little, maybe the vampire kid is gonna, like, maybe he's gonna, like, I don't know, become a giant, too. Could you imagine? Oh. Sorry, it was a long day. I'll try not to yawn too much. Alright. Least inexplicable was his fitting of another downstairs room for his new grandson, a roof which several callers saw, though no one was ever admitted to the closely boarded upper story. This chamber he lined with tall, firm shelving, along which he began gradually to arrange in apparently careful order all the rotten ancient books and parts of books which during his own day had been heaped promiscuously in odd corners. Promiscuously? How can a book be promiscuous? Get it together, Howard. They say Hercules is the god of strength in other stories, but he's a demigod. He's usually depicted as physically strong. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Yeah, so Heracles had, like, I forgot how many trials he had, but one of them was like going and taking, like, Cerberus for a walk, and all he did was, like, ask her, Hades, like, hey, can I go, like, you know, can I borrow your dog for a bit? And Hades like, yeah, just bring it back. And so he takes the dog and, like, takes it back to the king, and the king's like, oh my god, you have Cerberus, take it away, take it away, take it away, no, 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 no. Yeah. Howard, honestly, like, he's definitely not smashing his wife, that poor woman. I bet you she moved to the city so she could get laid. Because Lord knows Howard ain't doing it. Oh, sorry. Alright. Okay. In this chamber he lined with tall, firm shelving all the rotten ancient books and parts of books. I made some use of 'em, but the boys fitting to make better use of 'em, he'd order have 'em as well so as he can, for they're going to be all of his learning. Hades was really chill till well, here's the thing, like, as far as, like, problematic husbands go, Hades was the least problematic of them all. He, like, kidnapped his wife, but even then Persephone predates Hades' mythology, so, like, Persephone could have been, like, the death god before him, and they just, like, retconned it in ancient Greece, because, like, if you look at the Mycenaean Greece, only Persephone's mythology predates it, not Hades. So that means that Hades was like the Hades and Persephone myth was like something that they, like, tacked Hades on top of, because like a common theory is that instead of Hades being the god who was the god of death, it was actually, like, what was it? Poseidon, who was also, like, you know, god of earthquakes instead of just, like, storms. It was like a whole thing. Yeah, Hera hated Hercules because, you know, Hercules was because Heracles was, how do I explain it? Oh, we'll do a family tree for Greek mythology. I like Greek mythology so much. But I never read the Percy Jackson books, which I feel like was a missed opportunity, but at the same time I was technically too old for me, because they came out when I was in, I think, high school or college. I'll have to take a look later. But yeah, I should probably read them. I feel like they would be really cool. I know. I really like mythology, but I never read them. I know. Let's just say Zeus couldn't keep... Man, that man was so desperate to smash, he literally turned into a goose one time. Like, let's not get into how desperate Zeus is. I gotta watch the new show coming out on Disney Plus. Okay, I'll steal my friend's Disney Plus. Wait, you didn't hear me say that, right? Nobody heard it. I mean it. Alright, well, a child of 4 was incredibly fluent, great talker. Okay, we already know that you're a Breaking Dawn baby. Once the side of the house was completed, people noticed that the old tool house, which used to be tightly locked up and windowlessly clapboarded since Wilbur's birth, had been abandoned yet again. The door swung listlessly open, and when Earl Sawyer once stepped within after seeing a cattle selling call for old Whately, he was quite discomposed by the singular odor he encountered. Such stench, absolutely terrible. He'd never before smelt it in all his life except near— oh my god! Howard! The fuck, man? Hot take, you do love the Logan Erwin Percy Jackson series even though it was campy crap? Yeah, I'll be honest, the characters were really hot. I really thought the actors were hot. And I'm glad that they were aged up so I could, like, think that they were hot, you know? Like, I don't think I'd feel comfortable watching, like, Harry Potter style movies and, like, because, you know, like, you just know that, like, whoever they got to play Annabeth would have, like, all of the stuff that happened to— not Emma Roberts, Emma Watson, all the stuff that would happen to her growing up. Like, they were all like, oh, can't wait for Emma to turn 18. Like, you know that would have happened to Annabelle's actress, so I'm kind of glad they aged up the actress in the Percy Jackson movies, but, like, I understand as a fan, some people would be upset about it, but I feel like for the actors, you know, well-being, I'm glad it was aged up. Alright, we're skipping all that. Basically, next Halloween, a few years later, it's about, like, 5-ish, they produced an underground rumbling, clearly synchronized with bursts of flame. Them Witch Whately's doings from the summit of Sentinel Hill. I know, like, why would they do that to that poor girl? Terrible. Wilbur was going up uncannily so fast, he looked like a boy of 10 as he entered his 4th year. He would sometimes mutter in unfamiliar jargon and chant in bizarre rhythms which chilled the listener. The aversion displayed towards him by dogs had now become a matter of wide remark. He was obliged to carry— he shoots dogs as a 4-year-old, but he looks 10. Kill this kid! What the hell? No! Dunwich horror indeed. Oh my god. Yeah. Fishman hates the idea of, like, him killing dogs. Yeah, me too. The cattle are always disappearing so quickly. Of course they are. The kid's eating them. Fucking vampire brat. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I wish I had read this beforehand now. We picked one where a little vampire kid is killing dogs. Jesus. Alright, well, the government, alarmed at such sights of wholesale regional decadence, sent several officers and medical experts to investigate, conducted a survey, and still, it was the publicity attending of this investigation that set reporters on the track of the Whateleys and caused the Boston Globe and Arkham Advisor to print flamboyant Sunday stories of a young Wilbur's precociousness, old Whately's black magic, and the shelves of strange books. Yeah, he doesn't spin a will and kill a character, but we need that kid dead. If that kid's not dead by the end of the book, I'm rewriting it as we read. Cause frick this, man. Jeez. Terrible. How in the hickety heck do you think it's okay to write about a little vampire baby killing dogs with a pistol? Like, Howard. Dude. Insane. Jesus. Wilbur was 4.5 then, but he looked like a lad of 15. This kid looks legal. Let's kill him. Because remember, this is 1923. So, in 1923, a 15-year-old is legal age. Let's kill him. He deserves the death penalty. Little freaky vampire brat. It was, he said, exactly like a smell he'd found in the tool shed abandoned when the house was finally repaired, and like the faint odors which he sometimes thought he caught near the stone circle of the mountains. They wondered, too, why the riders made so much of the fact that old Whately always paid for his cattle in gold, of extremely ancient date. Dude. How to write? Grandma Gracie B. Lesson 1. H.P. Lovecraft sucked. Yeah, dude. Like, shoot, I could write a better story than this. Dude. Imposter syndrome feels... Just read H.P. Lovecraft. You'll feel way better about your writing. Like, way better. Jesus Christ, this sucks. Man. I will say, though, I like all of his rambles. I just wish that his rambles weren't racist. The Whateleys had received their visitors with ill-conceived distaste, though they dare not court further publicity with a violent resistance or refusal to talk. Alright, so the whole family's creepy. Great. Chapter 4. For a decade, the annals of the Whateleys sink indistinguishably into the general laugh of a morbid community, used to their queer ways, and hardened to their May Eve and All Hallows Eve. How are you going to bring up Freckle Frackle in this inbred mother flipper? This better than Oz though? Well, I don't know, man. They just brought up an incest orgy, so like let's keep our expectations like managed. Oh my goodness gracious, what in the hickety heck? Jesus Christ. Lesson 1. Grandma Gracie is throw H.P. Lovecraft to the asphalt at 3,000 feet from the air. I mean, come on, man. Like, what is this? What is this? Jesus. There was the talk of a complaint to the Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Edgar Allan Poe was just as bad. He married his cousin. Yeah, well, he also mentioned like that he had sex with a corpse. So like, yeah. I know, Mortal. Like, what is going on? This is wild. Like, I am like 0 for 2 at this point. We haven't gotten a non-crazy story once yet. Like, Jesus. Oh my god. Okay. So Wilbur's 10 years old, but he looks like he's a man of maturity. A second great siege of carpentry went on at the old house 10 years after their birth. They tore down the great central chimney and fitted the rusty range with a flimsy outside stem stovepipe. Okay, so the house is getting bigger to hide all the dead bodies this kid is killing. Absolutely, like, obviously. Kid isn't normal, we get it. We don't need a scene like this. Exactly, man. Like, come on. This is still the times when science wasn't a common thing yet. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. H.P. Lovecraft literally said, I'm too delicate for math. Wait, no, I'm too delicate for math. I can't do math at all. Why, me? Never. It's like, come on, man. Like, come on. Math is easy. You're just stupid. Estúpido pendejo. Pinche puñeta. Alright. They whistle just the tune in my brethren narrow, and I guess they are getting ready to catch my soul. They knew it was going out, and don't calculate to miss it. You'll know, boys, after I'm gone, whether they get me or not. If they do, then they'll be up a-singing and laughing till the break of dawn. If they don't, then they'll kinder be quiet down like I expect them to. And the souls they hunt for have been pretty tough tussles sometimes. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, yeah, no. I love my boys, but man, oh man, math ain't for them. Oh, thanks. Oh my god. Alright. Alright. Okay. Alright. So Wilbur Whately lashed out at one of his remaining horses through the darkness and telephoned from Osborne's in the village. He found old Whately in a very grave state, with cardiac action and stertorous breathing. Stericata? And breathing badly. Now that's his mad scientist colleagues convention. The shapeless albino daughter and oddly bearded grandson stood by the bedside, whilst from the vacant abyss overhead there came a disquieting suggestion of rhythmical surging or lapping, as of the waves of some level beach. Is there una playa en la casa? Is there like a beach in someone's house? Like, what the heck? Dude, I swear to God, if this kid goes Airbender on, or Avatar The Last Airbender on me, I'm gonna kick this kid's ass. I swear to God. The doctor was really sad to see him go. No, wait, no, he wasn't. He was happy to see him go. Towards 1 o'clock, old Whately gained consciousness to choke out a few words. More space, Willie, more space soon. You grows, and that's growing fast. Open up the gates to Yog-Sothoth with the long chant, and you'll find on page 751 of the complete edition. This man's giving him a lecture with his dying breath. He's literally like, turn to page 394, Willie. Like, come on, man. Like, what in the world is this? We should make our own novel. This and come up with, yeah, we could literally come up with a better novel than this, man. Like, we could spin a wheel and come up with a better novel. This is crazy. Okay. He was obviously quite mad. Obviously. Like, come on, Howard. Oh, all my computers moved. Okay, we're good. After a pause, when the flock of whippoorwills outside adjusted their quies, he added another sentence or two. Feed it regularly, Willie, and mind the quantity, but don't let it grow too fast for the place, for if it busts quarters or gets out afore you open Yog-Sothoth, it's all over and no use. The speech gave place to gasps again, and Lavinia screamed all the way. It was the same for more than an hour, when finally the throaty rattle came. Dr. Houghton drew sunken lids over the glazing gray eyes. But Wilbur chuckled, while the hill noises rumbled faintly. They didn't get him. Wilbur was by this time a scholar of really tremendous erudition in his one-sided way, and was quietly known by correspondence to many librarians on distant places for rare and forbidden books. Okay, so this kid likes to read, but like, doesn't matter. It doesn't, you can't redeem a character that shoots dogs as a 4-year-old. Like, what are you trying to do, Howard? Like, dude, get it together. Come on, man. He was now tremendously mature. In 1925, when a scholarly correspondent from Miskatonic University called upon him one day and departed pale and puzzled, he was fully 6 3/4 feet tall. 6 and... Huh? This boy is 3'7". I mean... Don't clip that. I call myself a math teacher. Could you believe? I meant 6'7". Alright. There's more about I knows than I can tell you, mammy. And nowadays there's more now than I know myself. I vow for God, I don't know what he wants nor what he's trying to do. Well, great. Creepy kid's up to no good. That Halloween, the hill noises sounded louder than ever, and fire burned on the hill as usual. People paid more attention to the rhythmic screaming of the vast flocks of unnaturally belted whippoorwills. What's a whippoorwill anyway? Is that like a sheep? Originally you were going to have me reversed when I did the sad cat drawing, but you thought it made more sense. Yeah. This was published after Frankenstein. I know, man. I'm telling y'all, it's amazing what, like, illiterate people can do. Because, like, H.P. Lovecraft was literate enough to write, but, like, good lord, this man had never read a complete book in his life. Poor Lavinia Whately, the twisted albino, had never been seen. Wait, what? I skipped. So that Halloween night, the Whately farmhouse seemed to... Oh. After midnight, shrill noises and a burst of pandemic cacophony. And then, when everything had vanished, there was a full month overdue. What this meant? Hurriedly south... Huh? Whatever, dude. Alright, basically, Halloween comes, shrill noises are heard, a bunch of crazy rhythmic beating. I don't think it's the sexy kind. Although, I don't know. We did hear orgies, so who knows. But basically, he's living. Yep. Wilbur killed his mama too. Alright, great. This kid's just killing people left and right. In the summer of 1927, Wilbur repaired 2 sheds in the farmyard and began moving his books and effects out to them. Soon afterward, Al Sawyer told the loungers at Osborne's that more carpentry was going on in the Whately farmhouse. He was living in one of the sheds, and Sawyer thought it seemed unusually worried and tumultuous. People generally suspected him of knowing something about his mama's disappearance, and very few people ever approached his neighborhood again. His height had increased some more, up to 7 feet, and he showed no signs of ceasing his development. So this kid's just getting taller and taller. Kill it! Kill it with fire! Dude! This set up to the world's longest and least funny joke. Honestly, man, like, people just keep getting more and more crazy. More and more wonderfully crazy. We're already halfway through though, so we'll be done soon. Chapter 5. The following winter brought an event no less strange than Wilbur's first trip outside the Dunwich region. Correspondence with the Widener Library at Harvard, the Bibliothèque Nationale. Bibliothèque Nationale? Huh? Oh well. Basically, he's shabby, dirty, bearded. He has uncouth dialect. He sounds illiterate. He's 8 feet tall. And he has a dark, goatish gargoyle-like appearance. Alright, why are we still talking to this man? Kill him! Oh, and now he has a Necronomicon. We're not reading that. It's Howard being a creep again. So he has the Necronomicon in some kind of Latin thing, printed from Spain, blah 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 blah. He's got unnatural fury. Of course he is. Of course he's crazy. Crazy stupid. Wilbur had with him the priceless but imperfect copy of Dr. Dee's English version with his grandfather had bequeathed him. Okay, so now he's got a Latin version of a Necronomicon. I know! See you soon. But like, dude, let him die. Let this bitch die. Oh my god. Like, literally, we don't need a sentence about how he needs, like, his grandfather's old, like, Spanish to English translation dictionary. Like, we don't need it. We don't. Anyway, he's looking for a formula or incantation containing the frightful name Yogg-Sothoth, and it puzzled him to find discrepancies, duplications, and ambiguities, which made the matter of determination far from easy. This seems a little too upbeat for our spooky, scary story time. What's it called? Chill, calm, and fun. Okay, no, we want scary. Oh, ad's over. Okay. Alright, we're good. Okay. So yeah, blah 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 blah. Dr. Armitage looked involuntarily. Okay, so some other doctor at the university catches him looking at creepy Latin stuff. Let's see. Armitage mentally was able to translate it. Something about how Yogg-Sothoth is one of the old ones. Oh, this is okay. So this is how it's like headcanon. The old ones are like the old gods, so like Cthulhu and like all of them. And yeah, it's they're the old ones were, are, and shall be. They're not living in the spaces that we know, but rather between them. And they walk serenely and primal, undimensioned, and to us unseen. Yogg-Sothoth knows the gate. Yogg-Sothoth is the gate. Yogg-Sothoth is also the key and the guardian of the gate. Past, present, future, all in one, were and is Yogg-Sothoth. Bar in mind, all we learned in the first half of the book was that he's a vampire, he kills people, and he grows infinitely. Cthulhu from South Park. I wish, man, I wish it was Cthulhu from South Park. At least then he would have a personality, man. Come on, this is crazy. 5 chapters and all we learned was that, like, oh my god. If you want to be a writer, kids, make sure that you learn to kill your children. I don't need to have 5 chapters of backstory about some creepy vampire baby that grows to be 7 feet tall, kills his mom, kills his grandpa, and, like, eats cattle. Oh, and, like, for some reason, loves to, like, build a huge freaking, like, house. Like, I don't need that. I don't need it. If I spell my name backwards, it's Isarg. Isarg. Not race G. But good try. Alright. Blah 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 blah. So now we're at so now we have like some university professor being like, oh shit, this kid's gonna like bring forth the old one, the great Cthulhu's the cousin, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is all just him tying in his other like short stories. Okay, great. So Yogg-Sothoth's the key to the gate whereby the spheres meet, which I think he means like the different worlds or dimensions, because like, why not just use that? But oh, I forgot. Howard doesn't believe in science, so Howard doesn't believe in space. Like, for real. Like, this man does not believe in space at all. Can you imagine? Like, dude. Dude. Freaking crazy. Isn't Ben 10 villain based? There's a Ben 10 villain based off of Cthulhu. I think it's like, the one that looks like, Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, he needed like only 2 or 3 chapters for the whole book. And now we're we're only halfway through and we haven't even had him like on screen kill anybody. Like, come on, man. Okay, so Dr. Armitage, I kind of like the fact that he called our little kid Wilbur, the demon baby, called him Bent Goatish Giant, a spawn of another planet or dimension, like something only partly of mankind. Wilbur raised his head and spoke in that strange, resonant fashion which hinted at a sound-producing organ unlike that of a mankind's. Oh yeah, Vilgax. I told y'all I'm a fake fan. I'm a fan of Ash, and that's about it. I'll watch his videos, and sometimes I'll cause Seth Aroni watches everybody's videos, including Kuro's. So I'll sometimes catch Kuro's videos through Seth Aroni, but if I'm not like demanding cuddles from Seth Aroni, I usually won't watch Benton stuff. Sorry, I'm very much not a good fan. Mr. Armitage, I calculated that I've taken that book home. These things I've got try to under certain conditions that I can't get here, and it wouldn't be. Nobody would know the difference. Let me take it along, sir. Oh my god. Okay, so the professor sees that like this kid, this like demonic like freaking creep, has a book on how to raise like demon gods or something, and he's like, "Hey, sir, can I take it home?" No, no, bitch, get out of here. He stopped as he saw the firm denial on the librarian's face, and his own goatish features grew crafty. Armitage, half ready to tell him he might make a copy of what parts he needed, thought suddenly of the possible consequences and checked himself. There were too much responsibilities in giving such a being the key to such blasphemous outer spheres. Whately saw how things stood and tried to answer lightly. Well, all right, if you're feeling that way about it. Maybe Harvard won't be so fussy as you be. He rode and strode out. Armitage heard the savage yelping of the great watchdog and studied Whately's gorilla-like lope as he crossed the bit of campus. Alright, so the kid leaves. Seems broody, obscenely. Something, something, something. He locked away the Necronomicon with a shudder of disgust. Huh? He had sickened himself at the sight of Whately's farmhouse less than 3 years before. He thought of Wilbur and laughed mockingly. Inbreeding great god, what simpletons. Show them Arthur Macon's great god pan and they'll think it common Dunwich scandal. Don't you dare bring Dionysus into this. Absolutely crazy. Alright, so they're born on... Okay, yeah, so some kid's born on like a demonic day. And he's like, oh my god, how do these like backwater hillbillies not realize that they're living next to the Antichrist? Because like obviously they're living next to the Antichrist. Oh, like dude, crazy. You watch the big projects, but most of the weekly uploads not either. Yeah, you know, we have different tastes. I like their big projects because I like to support my friends, but you know, I'm not a huge fan of Ben 10, other than like just like the casual stuff. Plus creature design is cool, but you know. And of course they make crazy noises, and basically this like the professor at the university, we spend a whole chapter being like, how did nobody recognize this? Literally it's just a like why give an entire chapter for a reader insert when we are reading it at like actively reading it currently? Like we don't need a reader insert chapter saying, wow, how could no one notice all these crazy things happening? Wow. Come on, man. Get it together. He feels like he's going to visit Dunwich, but a close survey on the Necronomicon, where Wilbur had sought so avidly, he saw terrible clues and threatening things, talks of several students, from archaic lore studies. They gave him a growing amazement, which slowly, throughout slowly gave him different degrees of alarm until he basically was like, oh shit. This Antichrist is gonna like resurrect his dad. Because like obviously. So little vampire baby is gonna bring back his papa. Chapter 6. The Dunwich horror itself came between Lammas and the equinox of 1928. Dr. Armitage was among those in witness to the mantra's prologue. There had been warnings. He tried to tell all the librarians, don't give this kid anything. Don't do it. But obviously they do. Deep, terrible snarling, half-mad growls and barks continued on the college campus until a scream rang out wholly different. Such a scream that was definitely not born of earth. Armitage listens closely. He opens a window, which showed a black, gaping moonlight. An open window showed black and gaping. Oh, in the moonlight. Okay, I got it. Amidst all of the others, he saw a couple other professors. They go forward. He perceived with a sudden start in a loud chorus of whippoorwills. What the heck is a whippoorwill? I think like a woo, something like that maybe. I don't know. But basically, he hears some like crazy sound in conjunction with like the last breaths of a dying man. For a second, nobody dared to turn on the light when Armitage summoned his courage and snapped on the switch. Of the 3 people present, someone shrieked aloud at what they saw before them. The thing that lay half bent on its side in a fetal position in a pool of greenish yellow liquid and tarry ickiness was almost 9 feet tall. A dog had torn off all the clothing and some skin. It was not quite dead, but it twitched silently and spasmically, spasmed, while its chest heaved in monstrous unison with the mad piping of the expectant. See, this is why an illiterate kid should not, like, maybe it's a bird call. Like, maybe it's a bird call, because, like, I've never seen this word before in all my learning. Never before. So, not sure, but, you know. I don't know why one of your sentences got flagged mortal, but maybe because it had the orgy word in it, but like I don't know why that's like flagged. Whatever, but yeah, he probably spent like all that time in the build up to like talk about it. The creep. Howard is such a creep, Jesus Christ. Near the central desk, a revolver had fallen, dented but undischarged cartridge. It would be trite and unwholly accurate to say that no human pen could describe it, but one may properly say, oh my god, okay. In order to get around not describing things properly, Howard likes to do this thing where he's like, it was terrifying beyond words. You'll have no idea how scary this is, oh my god. And it's like, dude, get a thesaurus. Use your words. You're an author. You need to make your readers able to see in their brain what's going on. Here we can get a little bit, at least towards the bottom. It was partly human beyond a doubt, with very man-like hands and heads, and the goatish chinless face had the stamp of the Whateleys upon it. But the torso and lower parts of the body were definitely fabulous. Outrageous, so that only generous clothing could ever have enabled it to walk on earth unchallenged. Above the waist it was semi-anthropomorphic, though its chest there was a dog's rending paw still rested watchfully. There was leathery, reticulated hide like a crocodile or alligator. The back was piebald with yellow and black spots, and dimly suggested squalor covering certain, like... Oh! It was yellow and black spots like a snake. Bro really should have just said racism. Get distracted. Literally, dude. Like, come on. This is wild. Stupid. Stupid. Qué feo. Qué estúpido. Pinche puñeta. But yeah. So basically, he's got some snake parts. He's got skin like an alligator. The skin thickly covered in coarse black fur on his legs. Long greenish gray tentacles with red suction mouths protruding from it. Oh my god, this kid's like creeped out. The frick. On his hips, there was some pinkish like orbs. Seemed to be like eyeballs on his hips. Oh my god. In lieu of a tail, there was some kind of trunk. Like a purple like feeler. Like an undeveloped mouth or throat. Limbs, other than the black fur, was resembling the hind legs of prehistoric saurians. Oh my god, he looks like some kind of goat lizard like trunk thing with two eyes on its hips and like, oh my god, this is wild. This is nasty. No thank you. There's a good reason why these books aren't studied in school. How the fuck they became beloved when we can't. Literally, like Howard. And look at all this. He's reading something like, okay, okay, so another bird call shrieking in the night came to a halt for a gasping. Okay, so it looks like even with his dying breaths, Wilbur tried to like call his dad to the living. Against the moonlight, there were vast clouds of feathery watchers. Okay, yeah, so it is a bird. Okay, good job, Marina. My context clue brain was not working, I'll tell you what. Jeez Louise. Alright. Okay. All at once, the dog started up abruptly, gave a frightened bark, and leaped nervously out the window. Oh. So the dog like came in, killed Wilbur, and then left. Good. That man killed dogs. He should die by a dog. It's only fair. Okay, so they closed the curtains. Some policemen arrive, and they were urged onto the scene. Meanwhile, frightful changes were taking place on the floor. Okay, so the little professor guy literally watched Wilbur disintegrate in his very eyes. Everything disappeared except for the human elements in Wilbur Whately, which were very small. The medical examiner came. There was only a sticky whitish mass of paint on the boards, a monstrous odor. Apparently Whately had no skull or bony skeleton. Huh? He had been taken somewhat after his father. Okay, you know what? That's actually, I will say, Howard gave a pretty good burn. Next time you want to tell your name, like, next time you want to tell someone, like some smack talk, say, just say, you stink like your dad. Basically is what he's saying. A monstrous odor, like your unknown father. Yeah, he deserved it, man. Oh my god. Alright. We got 40% left of the book. This was, oh my god, 6 chapters, and this was only the prologue of the actual Dunwich horror. How the fuck do you do 6 chapters. And it's a prologue. Dude, oh my god. Oh my god. Wild. Absolute madness. Get out of here with this mess. Crazy. The officials devised excuses not to enter the noisy, boarded up place for the Waitley farmhouse up on the hill. Indeterminable number of times after a week of debate, people came and went, figuring out what to do. No trace of the ancient gold with which Wilbur and Old Waitley had always paid. Okay, so bro told a whole story as a prologue. Literally, man. It's like a celebrity roast. I can't help it. Ignis deserves it. Plus, I know he can take it. I'm not gonna talk shit when he's not here. It's not as fun when he doesn't talk shit back. At least all the cows are not dying. He convulsed in fright when he stumbled into the kitchen, and in the yard outside, he heard pawing, low and pitiful. Basically, there was the gasps of like some kid up there in the road beyond the glen. Mrs. Gory, there's something been there. It smells like thunder, and all the bushes and trees is pushed back from the road, like they housed, like a house had moved along through it. Huh? Is this like a monster house thing? Like, is the house moving? Because I remembered like the big house. The smell was awful, like what around, like the one around the Wizard Waitley's old house. Wizards of Waitley Place. Could you imagine Selena Gomez being like in a story about this? Absolutely wild. She wouldn't get paid enough. Okay, so basically everyone's like, oh my god, it smells so bad. Whatever was in the house got out. And it's big. Okay, so the house didn't move, just whatever was in it. Maybe it's like all of, you know, HP loved like body horror. Maybe it's all like all of the dead cows like merged together or something. Honestly, who didn't have a crush on Selena Gomez? Like, dude, she was amazing. She was phenomenal. Absolutely gorgeous. Alright, blah 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 blah. Okay, everyone's like, oh my god, everything was sucked dry, sores were on them, like at the Waitley's cattle. Uh-oh. Huh? Wait. Okay, so the cows over at some guy named Seth's place are all drunk dry. So, okay, so wait. So Wilbur wasn't a vampire? Or maybe there's like, maybe they had a vampire like demon kid or something? I'm so confused. To be honest, after I got rejected in middle school twice, you haven't had a crush on anybody. Yeah, man, I wouldn't self-report the fact that I have no riz, but like, you do you, I guess. He's the... Yeah, like, this is wild, man, this is wild. Could you imagine, man? That's like, that would be crazy. Okay. Alright, I'll tell you, Mrs. Corley, there's something I brought. Okay, so yeah, so something came out at the house. They were all talking. Chansey heard the birds out loud screaming. Everybody's all freaked out. Oh my god, they're like, oh my god, it's the end of days. Bitch, it's a vampire, go kill it. Get fire. Be better. Fully 3/4 of the men and boys of Dunwich were tromping through the roads and meadows between the Waitley ruins and the Cold Spring Glen, examining in horror the vast monstrous prints of the maimed bishop cattle the strange, noisome wreck of the farmhouse, and the bruised, matted vegetation of the fields and roadside. Whatever had burst loose upon the world had assuredly gone down into the great sinister ravine. Uh-oh. From below no sound came, but a distant, undefiable feeder? Voter? Basically, whatever went out of the house burst through and like stopped in a ditch. That night, oh, oops, sorry. Okay. So that night, everybody went home, boarded, barricaded up their house as stoutly as possible. The dogs slavered and crouched close to the feet of their fear-numbled family. The noise of the cattle subsided into pitiful moaning, and great snapping, crashing, and crackling ensued. Oh my god. The cows aren't getting just drained now, they're getting eaten. It's a T-Rex. I wish, man, that would be so fun. Next day, everyone in the countryside was in a panic. They crowded in uncommunicative groups in Bitch, stop using big words in the wrong order. Of the cattle in the countryside, only a quarter could be found and identified. Oh no, some were in fragments? All of the ones that had survived had to be shot? Oh my god. Oh, poor cattle. Poor things. That's too bad. He came against a line. Oh wait, huh? Another Waitley? I thought all the Waitleys died. Oh. I see what it is. It's not just the Waitleys, it's like some like distant cousin or something. Darkness fell upon the countryside, everybody's terrified. Night came again, barricading was repeated. There was less huddling together. In the morning, everybody reported excitement among the dogs and vague noises. Uh-oh, there's fresh tracks. As before, the sides of the road showed bruising. Oh my goodness, at the base of the hill, a 30-foot swath of shrubbery led steeply upwards. They gasped when they saw even the most peculiar of places did not deflect the peculiar trail. Whatever the horror was, it could scale a sheer stony cliff. Uh-oh. Whatever the Waitleys used to build their hellish fires and chant their hellish rituals. Uh-oh. Now that very storm formed the center of a vast space dashed about with mountainous horror. They looked down the hill, and apparently the horror had descended by a route much the same as it had that of the ascent. Only old Zebulon, who was not with the group, could have done justice. Okay, so like whatever, only the old Waitley guy knows what's going on, obviously. The birds keep screaming, and about 3 a.m. all the party telephones rang. Everybody's like, oh my god, help me, help me. Some crashing happens, then nothing more. No one dared to do anything until morning came. Everyone lined up. Basically more, okay, yeah, so every night a monster goes rampaging around, killing dogs, killing cattle, and basically like destroying houses. Okay, got it. Get it, got it, good. Chapter 8. In the meantime, a quieter yet even more spiritually poignant phase of the horror had been bleakly unwinding itself behind the closed door of a shelf-lined room. Oh, we're back with the professor. I don't need a reader insert. Basically, he's like, oh my god, all these old books are talking about how scary everything is. The question, however, he did not deem vital was the idea that the alphabet might be some kind of esoterically used for certain forbidden cults that had come down from old times and had inherited many forms and traditions from the wizards of this Saracen world. Saracenic? Whatever, man. I don't know, this professor don't get paid enough. I should know I'm a teacher. Stop doing extra hour activity stuff, man. Alright, so he calls a bunch of professors from different classifications, different different intermediaries. A bunch of authorities seem rather helpful rather than the new ones. Oh my god, this is another thing. Howard is like obsessed with people like who know more about the old times. Like, I understand that, you know, remembering your history is important, but it's also important to recognize advancements in technology and history. Like, you're not supposed to only care about old-timey, like, bullshit. Like, come on, man. What a weirdo. Alright, more formulas about... Okay, for a guy who hates math so much, you have too many formulas, man. So basically, you do your little, like... This is like the Bing research section of the movie. He's the kind of person that would think of the Roman Empire on a daily basis. Oh my god. Dude. Fun fact, we found out how the Roman Empire made, that super fancy concrete that stays really strong and really good. They used volcanic ash. So all we have to do is use volcanic ash and our concrete will last like thousands of years. Okay, so the professor goes to sleep and he wakes up in a terror with a frenzy because he had a dream of like some random deity. Lunch and dinner had to be brought to him. He only ate the smallest amount of either. He's okay, yeah. Alright, whatever. I had a bad dream. I got over it. You can too. His wife, this man is married. What man would marry such a wet blanket? He had sufficient strength to get home, but he was definitely in need of medical aid. The doctor was summoned at once. What in God's name can we do? He slept, but he was delirious. We have to stop them. We have to stop them. Those Whateleys meant to let them in, then the worst of all is left. Okay, whatever. The professor is like, oh my god, we have to stop them. We have to stop them. Oh my god, no, you don't understand. Really, it's really scary. Oh my god. And I bet you we'll get blue-balled. We won't even get to see the monster. I bet you. Chapter 9. Friday morning, all the professors from a unit. Could you imagine some like college professors going off to like do a demonic raid? Like, could you imagine? I had a professor named what's a synonym? Let's just call them, like, it was something crazy like Sparkles, okay? Like, it obviously their professor name wasn't Sparkles, but like, dude, I cannot imagine that professor going on a raid for a demon lord. Like, this is shitty fanfiction. This is shitty isekai fanfiction. Dude. Okay, so they go up to the hill. They waited out. Oh my god, I told them there not to go down there in the glen, and I never thought nobody'd do it. Oh my god. So the stupid villagers decided to go down into the ravine to catch the monster themselves, and they died. Surprise, surprise. Jesus. I need some music to go with this crazy stuff. Crazy baloney. Alright, so now that we've got that going, he came upon the horror in its monstrous work. He trembled at the responsibility he felt was to be his. The old librarian had rehearsed the formula he memorized. I skipped over this part, but basically in the books they found like a formula to Thanks! I like it, it's really good. It's called Dark Hour by Fall. It's on it's on Soundstripe. But yeah, so basically they're just like, they found a formula that you don't see my quotation marks, but imagine they're there. And they're gonna use the formula to like destroy the demon, I guess. Like they're gonna exorcise the demon, whatever they have. He read a hideous diary, knew painfully well that what kind of manifestation was to be expected. Blah 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 blah. There were rumblings under the hill that night. The birds were very threatened. Once in a while a wind swept up in the cold spring glen would bring a touch of ineffable fear. And they stood above a dying thing that had passed for 15 years and a half as a human being. Oh, okay, so something smells as bad as like Wilbur when they like killed him. Or when the dog killed him, I mean. So morning comes and goes. Night sounds are stunned. All of the men from the university don't know what to do. There's a downpour, there's lightning, bolts of lightning. The sky grew very dark. They wanted to wait out the storm for clear skies. It was very gruesomely dark when not much over an hour later, confused babble of voices sounded down the road. Oh my god, it's a-going again, this time by day. It's out and moving about this very minute. Lord knows when it'll be upon us. Dude. Okay, this really is a vampire. It can't go out in direct sunlight. So it had to wait for a rainy day. This is so... oh my god. Dude. Oh my god. Okay. So they're lurking about, they're going around. They're like, I'm just a college professor, man, what am I supposed to do? But they go around. At this point, the first excited speaker interrupts them. That ain't the trouble now, that was only the start. Oh no. Okay, so someone was bringing in kills from last night. They heard like something like an elephant. She spoke of a sudden fearful smell. Her little boy Chansey was screaming about how he was just smelled like up at the Waitley's. Okay. They're just following like eyewitnesses to get to the monster. We're gonna skip. They follow eyewitnesses until then. Oh Lord, help me, the house is caving in. Alright, they're following the destruction. Following. You've seen Wilbur's Waitley's diary. It read about some strange old books he used to read. You never thought he would read some kind of a crazy spell. Whatever it is, it's invisible. There's a powder and a long distance sprayer that might... oh my god, they're gonna spray it with pesticides, dude. This is bringing back Siren Head energy. I'm skipping it. Okay. Alright. We can't hesitate, we have to kill it immediately. All of the professors are going. At length they emerged on a muddy road to find the sun coming out. There was a little beyond the bishop place, but bent trees and hideously unmistakable tracks showed what had passed by. Only for a few moments were they consumed once again by the horrid smell. No one cared to remain there amidst the stench and tarry stickiness, but all of them turned instinctively in line to the horrible prints leading towards the wrecked Whately house. As the men passed the sight of Wilbur Whately's abode, they shuddered visibly and seemed again to mixed hesitancy with their zeal. It was no joke tracking down something as big as a house that one could not see, but that had all the vicious malevolence of a demon. Opposite the base of Sentinel Hill, the tracks left the road. Armitage produced a pocket telescope of considerable power and scanned the steep green side of the hill. Yeah, I hope everyone has a safe Halloween too. Although I don't think the people in the story are having a safe Halloween. Someone's house just got caved in. When? Sawyer? Earl Sawyer? Oh yeah, when one of the villagers, as clumsily as most non-users of the optical devices are, fumbled for a while, but eventually he focused on the lenses with Armitage aids. With the professor's aid. When he did so, his cry was less restrained than Morgan's had been. God almighty, the grass and bushes is a-movin'. It's a-goin' up, slow-like, creepin' up to this middle line. Heaven only knows what for. The germ of panic seemed to spread among the seekers. The villagers began questioning the professor about what he knew of the thing, and no reply seemed quite to satisfy them. Everyone seemed to feel himself in the closest proximity to phases of nature and of beings of utterly forbidden and unholy outside that sane experience of mankind. Oh, 5 pages left, you guys. This is our last one. Here we go. In the end, I'm sorry, we're not gonna get a play-by-play of them killing the demon. I swear to God, if we don't, Howard, I'm gonna throw a fit. In the end, the 3 men from the university, old Dr. Armitage, stocky iron-gray Professor Rice, and lean young Dr. Morgan, ascended the mountain alone. It was hard going, and Armitage had to be helped more than once. High above the toiling group, the great swath trembled as its hellish maker repressed the snail-like deliverance. A repast with snail-like deliverance. Then it was obvious that the pursuers were gaining. I know. How does Sherlock Holmes have more action than this? Hounds of Baskerville was more interesting than this, and I hated Hounds of Baskerville. I got so bored with that thing. Absolutely wild. Okay. He told the crowd that when the men were evidently trying to get up to a subordinate peak, that this indeed proved to be true, and the party were seen to gain the minor elevation only a short time after the invisible blasphemy had passed it. Then Wesley Corey, who had taken the class, Wesley Corey's one of the villagers, had taken the class, cried out that Armitage was adjusting the sprayer and that something was about to happen. The crowd stirred uneasily, recalling that the sprayer was expected to give the unseen horror a moment of visibility. Curtis Whately snatched back the telescope. Oh, Curtis Whately is one of the good cousins, not the incesty cousins. He saw that Professor Rice, from the party's advantage above and behind the entity, had an excellent chance of spreading the potent powder with marvelous effect. Those without the telescope saw only an instant flash of gray clouds. A cloud about the size of a moderately large building near the top of the mountain. Okay, we're getting to the action. I'm gonna go to one that's less calm and more, scary. This is just called Ghosts. So, all he could do was moan half inaudibly as he reeled back, being crumbled to the ground as not 2 or 3 others seized and steadied him. Oh God, great God, that. So he gets to see it through the telescope, but we don't? Wild. Only Henry Wheeler, one of the villagers, was able to rescue the fallen telescope and wipe it clean of mud. Bigger in a barn, and all made of squirming ropes. Oh my God, okay, so it's made of tentacles. The whole thing is shaped like a hen's egg, bigger than anything they've seen, with dozens of legs, a hog's head, half shut up where they step. Nothing solid about it, all jello and spirit with wriggling tentacles pushed close together. Big bulging eyes, 20 mouths and trunks sticking all about. Big as stovepipes, all tossing and shutting and opening. All gray with sort of blue and purple rings. It has half a face. This final memory, whatever it was, proved too much, and he collapsed completely before he could say any more. Through the lenses were discernible 3 tiny figures, apparently running towards the summit as fast as the steep incline allowed them. Only these, nothing more. Then everyone noticed a strangely unseasonable noise in the deep valley behind. Sawyer, one of the villagers, now took the telescope and reported that the 3 figures were standing on the topmost ridge. I have heard of it, Justin. I like it a lot. I love restaurant and cooking anime. Alright. The weird silhouette peeks up. Oh my God. Now there's a new group chat. What the heckity heck, dude? It is 10 o'clock. Get it together. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I guess he's saying the spell is what they... Okay, yeah, so they see Dr. Armitage holding his hand out and chanting. They made a new one, dude. What the heck, man? This is crazy. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. Jesus. I am going crazy. Jesus. Alright. Suddenly, the sunshine seemed to lessen without the intention of any discernible cloud. It was very peculiar and plainly marked by all. Oh, okay, so the demon baby kid thing, tentacle egg, was making it storm. Great, love that for us. Lightning flashed and the wondering crowd looked in vain to see the storm. The chanting of the men from Arkham now became unmistakable. From some farmhouse far away came the frantic barkings of dogs. The change in the quality of daylight increased and the crowd gazed about the horizon in wonder. A purple blackness, born of nothing more than a spectral deepening of the blue sky, pressed down upon the rumbling hills. Then the lightning flashed again. No one, however, had been used to the telescope in that instant, so nobody saw the mistiness about the altar stone on that distant height. Hi, Lord. We're almost done. You missed all of the boring parts. You got to the best part, the fight. The bird calls continued their irregular pulsation, and the men of Dunwich braced themselves tensely against some imponderable menace, of which the atmosphere seemed surcharged. Without warning came those deep crackles, the raucous vocal sounds which never leave the memory of those who hear it. Rather, one would have said they came from the pit itself, and not the source of so unmistakable it is almost erroneous to call them sounds at all, since so much of their ghastly bass timbre spoke to dim sets of consciousness and terror far subtler than an ear can hear. Yeah, you missed all the racism. This man is absolutely stupid. Frickin' Howard. Lame. They were all so loud, loud as the rumblings of thunder, yet they did come with no visible being. The huddled crowd at the mountain's base huddled still closer and winced as if expecting a blow. Blah 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 blah. The speaker impulse seemed to falter here. Frightful psychic struggling going on. From the black wells of acaronic fear, from what pummeled gulfs of extra cosmic consciousness, long latent hereditary, half-articulate thunder croakings of dawn, an ultimate frenzy. Blah 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 blah. Help! Father, father, Yogsatha. Wait. Huh? Are you kidding me? Wait, does that Wilbur had a brother? Or a sister? An egg tentacled sibling? Gross! Oh my god, Lavinia! Girl, do not let the devil impregnate you. You'll pop out like tentacle eggs. What is this crap? Oh my god. Jesus. A single lightning bolt shot from the purple zenith to the altar stone. A great tidal wave of viewless force stretched down upon the hill to the countryside. Dogs howled in the distance. Grass and foliage wilted to curious sickly yellow-gray, and over field and forest were scattered bodies of dead birds. The stench left quickly, but the vegetation never came back right. To this day, there is something unholy about the growths on and around that fearsome hill. They were grave and quiet, the onlookers, and they seemed shaken by the memories and reflections even more terrible than those which had reduced the group to a state of coward, quivering. In reply to blah 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 blah, the thing has gone on forever. It's been split up into what it was originally made of and can never exist again. Only the least fraction of which really matters in any sense is what we know. It was like its father. You're the least fraction of all, just like your dad. What a burn. There is a brief silence, and in that pause the scattered sense of poor Whately began to knit back into some kind of continuity. Memory seemed to pick itself up where it had left off, and the horror of the sight that had put him on his back burst in upon him once again. That half face with the red eyes and albino hair, and no chin like the Whateleys. It was an octopus, centipede, spider kind of thing, but there was a half-faced man's face on it. It looked like old Whately's, only it was yards and yards across. 15 years gone, I heard Whately say how someday we'd hear a child of Lavinia's a-callin' its father's name. What was it anyhow? However did young Wizard Whately call it out into the air? It was mostly a kind of force that doesn't belong in our part of space. The things like that brought down the beings of those Whateleys were so fond of, the beings that were going on into led into intangible, to wipe out the human race and drag the earth off to some nameless place for some nameless purpose. Yeah, Ignis definitely needs help on his. You needn't ask how Wilbur called it out of the air. He didn't call it. It was his twin brother, but it looked even more like his father than he did. Oh my god. Alright, you guys. We finished it. I can't believe we got it all done in just one stream. But Lord Almighty. Jeez Louise. The Dunwich horror indeed. Gosh. Oh man. That was quite an experience. I'll tell y'all what. I'll say something though. I am very thankful to not have to deal with the crazy like baloney of this again, cause oh my god. Yeah, Mortal's right. Lord, you missed it. 1.5 hours was just the prologue. Just the prologue, and he even called it a prologue. It was 6 chapters. And then out of the 10 chapters, only 3 of them were like about the present tense. The 6 chapters before were all like post, or no, like a prelude. It was so crazy, man. Like so crazy. I am so oh my god. I can't believe that this happened. Okay. Let's get some calmer music that's nicer. Let's do Fight or Flight. Alright, I can dig it. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Chapter 2 and 3 had no information, really. Yeah, literally, so, like, Mortal is absolutely right. This book could have been, like, way shorter. It was already a short story, but it could have been even shorter. Like, when I hear short story, I feel like it should be 10 pages or less. I don't think we need 50 pages of ramblings. Especially not the racist bullshit. Okay. So Howard Philip Lovecraft was definitely a piece of shit. And, I appreciate the cosmic horror of it all. But I think that, like, people used his horror in a better way than he did. Because, like, this man does not understand so many things. Like, so many things. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so thankful to have y'all here with me, and I love you guys. I love y'all so much. I'll see y'all. I don't know. Probably not tomorrow night. Unless I feel like it. But definitely on Saturday. I'll be helping my sister grab her dog. We found it. They found it in a little town, like a couple towns over. So I'm gonna go drive with her, since it's kind of a ways away, and we'll bring her home. Her dog's name is Tequila, by the way, and I love Tequila so much. Tequila's such a great lap dog, so I'm so happy that they found her dog. We have a grand-aunt. Yeah. I have a sister and a brother. Well, technically I have 2 sisters. And a brother. Yeah. I used to be an older child, but then, you know, because of divorce, I became a middle child. But yeah, the sister I'm talking about is technically not, like, blood related. But, you know, she's my sister, so. But yeah, I'm gonna go help her get her dog Tequila back from the shelter that they, like some very sweet Samaritan, dropped her dog off at. So we're gonna go grab her on Saturday. Oh wait, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's not Saturday. Gosh dang it. I wish it was though. But yeah. Is there anything else I have? Oh yeah, we still have our Sunday stream with Ash and Ignis and Moon. My lovely Moon. But is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. Make sure y'all get lots of sleep and that y'all eat. I'm gonna go eat now before I go to bed. And is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. Tagline, yeah. We're here for a short time, so let's make it a fun time and leave this world better than we found it. I hope y'all have a great night, and I don't see any of my friends streaming, so we'll just end it here. I'll see y'all next stream. I'll make sure to put it on Twitter. I think that's it. Okay, goodbye. Love you.